Hi everyone and welcome to the live Game Week 6 FPL deadline stream. We've got 2 hours to go until deadline, so get your questions in. It's going to be another big game week. Just before we start, if you can like the video, give us a subscribe to the channel, and we'll try and aim for maybe 50 likes tonight on this video and see how we go there. Tonight we've got familiar guest. He's been on the last couple of streams. He's having a pretty good season in FPL as well. We've got at D10 Football, futsal sensation, this guy. So if you don't follow Daniel, his handle is at D10 Football on Instagram, TikTok, and also on Twitter. So let's see how he's going. It's our guest, Daniel Capillare. How are you tonight? And are you looking forward to this deadline? Obviously, 2 hours to go. Feeling a bit nervous, or are you all set to go?
No, I'm not. Look, I'm feeling nervous because I've taken a hit. I've done a -4 this week, obviously after our last pod. If you go and have a look at the last pod, the one that I was on, where we said no, maybe Haaland is not a perma captain. I've only gone and got him in, and he also captain him for this game week. So we got it absolutely wrong. But yeah, we can talk about Haaland later. I am looking forward to it. I made all my transfers long before the game week was over, and also before the deadline. So I'm set, ready to go.
Good stuff. And obviously, Haaland is another topic we will discuss tonight. He's come into my team. Obviously, I had him in my own team, game week 1 and 2. And then I made a massive error and did De Bruyne over Haaland for the last couple of game weeks, and it's absolutely killed me. So he's back in my side. He is going to be part of the topic tonight. What we're going to go through, the usual fixtures. Me and Dan are going to predict the scores. We're going to name a player from each fixture that we think is a good FPL asset for this game week. Then we're going to chat some captains. We're going to pick a curveball captain, some differentials, talk about our transfers, and then we'll discuss the topic of, will Haaland score another hat-trick? Will he make it 3 in a row? Obviously, he's playing against a pretty weak Villa side at the moment. And then we'll take everyone's live questions. So if you are new to the stream, give us a like, give us a subscribe now. Get your questions in the comments, and we will take them at the end with a Q&A. But we'll also be bringing up the best comments throughout the stream as well. So I actually can see we've had some comments come in and some questions, so we'll bring them in at the end. But before we start the fixtures and the fixture review, we've had Quinton Dunn come in and say, "Hey fellas, thanks for joining the stream, Quinton. Looking forward to getting your comments in during this one. LostK.S lads, welcome to the stream. Get your questions in as well." And then we just had a question for Daniel. Love the jumper D10. Really brings the colours of your eyes out. So good stuff. And then here we go. We've had another one. D10 is my futsal goat. So
thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Cheers.
There you go. All right. Well, we're going to share the fixtures now. We'll get straight into the preview for game week 6. I'm just going to share the screen. These fixtures have kindly come from FPL Amateurs of Oz. So if you don't follow them, give them a follow on Twitter. Check out their website, FPL Amateurs of Oz. And Quinton Dunn and FPL West Ham. Yeah, you should know them. And these are the fixtures this week. Q's got them spot on. Obviously, last week there was a couple of fixtures around the wrong way, but it's all good this week. Welcome to the stream, Andy Chats FPL. Looking forward to your questions. So get them in. And then one of the Facebook users has just said, "Hey lads, love the work at the gym in Norway, waiting for the captain tips." So that'll be coming up soon. So stay tuned, and everyone get your questions in. But let's start off with the first game, Dan, which is Liverpool versus Everton. It's a Merseyside derby. We are also going to be doing a live watch along 10 minutes before kickoff. So tune into this channel 10 minutes before kickoff in the Liverpool-Everton game. And we're going to do a live watch along, and we are going to just be giving the breakdown of that game as it goes. So Liverpool-Everton, let's do this one. Scoreline prediction, Dan, and name me your one FPL asset that we need in our teams for this game.
I know everyone's, look, it's either Captain Salah or Captain Haaland. Everyone's probably going to go with Salah for this one. But I'm going to say, no, I'm going to go very left of centre, and I don't have him in my classic. He's not in my classic. I have 3 Liverpool players in my classic. It is Trent, Salah, and Diaz. I'm going to go with Roberto Firmino because last time
Firmino,
we
it's a
saw
great call. It's a great
last
call.
time we saw a game like this, it ended up being 9-0. So I don't think it's going to be 9. I think we could see a 4 or even a 5 because I think Liverpool are going to have that bounce back again. They seem to be very inconsistent at the moment. There's only been 5 game weeks, so it's probably harsh to say that. Unless you've had 5 losses or 5 wins, there's no real consistency. But I think they are going to bounce back. And I think Firmino might be the player that everyone wants again. I've got him in my draft, so it's a safe pick for me.
Okay, and what was your score prediction?
I said 4 or 5. I'll go with 4-0.
4-0. So 4-0. We've had a comment from Los Koda as he says he thinks Liverpool will struggle. So that's an interesting one. Yeah, they could. They've still got injuries. They've been on the back foot in a few games, but Firmino is a very good shout. And I'll just throw some ones at you, Dan, as well. Liverpool, Newcastle, 9 points for Firmino, which includes 3 bonus points. Liverpool versus Bournemouth, 22 points.
Yeah.
So he's hit in the last 2 games. If he keeps his start, 8.1 million. Yeah, he could be an absolute steal. So, yeah, that's a good point. And he knows his fixture well.
I'll tell you what I think is different between this game and the Newcastle game is that Newcastle have been playing absolutely out of their skin. Like Newcastle have been unbelievable. And I think we did say on the previous podcast, I might have called it 2-2. I thought it was going to be a Desmond. I'm pretty sure we called it a Desmond. But it ended up 2-1 to Liverpool, and they scored just in the last minute, didn't they? It was
they did it right at the end.
They bought Carvalho. I don't see Everton playing the same way. I know Everton's probably copped a bit on the last pods as well. We said they're not going to score, and then Anthony Gordon seems to latch on. It's like when you play FIFA and you're one of those L1 triangle, you just send it long.
Yeah.
That striker just come from wide coming in, and he just 1v1 with the goalkeeper. Gordon scored twice in 2 games. So Everton are showing they can score, but I'm not sure against Liverpool, and especially at Anfield.
Yeah, sorry, this one is at Goodison Park. So Q has actually got the
again, Amateurs Oz. Who are they?
we get our fixtures from FPL Amateurs of Oz, but they've actually got this one round the wrong way again. So it is at Goodison Park. So we apologise for that one to our viewers.
That changes everything.
Yeah, it does. Look, I'll give my prediction. Look, I think Liverpool will win this one. I think it'll be 2-0. Everton struggle, haven't won a game yet. I found that they've been sitting back quite a bit as well in games. Lampard's been sort of parking the bus a bit. So I'm going to go 2-0. And I like the Firmino shout a lot. I really do like it. But I think this will be the week for Salah. I think a goal and maybe an assist. And Liverpool will win this one 2-0. So I think if you are a Salah owner, keep him for this one because he loves this derby. He actually got a really big score in it last year. He got 2 goals. So I think keep Mo Salah. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-0, and it is at Goodison Park. And yeah, Daniel's gone with Firmino as his pick, and he thinks Liverpool will win as well. So that's Everton versus Liverpool. Let's move on to Brentford versus Leeds now. And just before we do, if you are new to this channel, put your questions in now, and we are going to do our live Q&A at the end. So we have had a couple of questions come in, which we'll take at the end. So just get your questions in the comments. Or just put your chat in there as well as we talk FPL. So let's go Brentford versus Leeds. I'll do this one to start with. I think this one could be a low-scoring game. Leeds have kept it quite tight lately. So have Brentford. So I'm going to go with... I'm feeling a 1-0 either way. And I'm liking Leeds this season, but I'll back Brentford. You know what? I'm going to go 0-0. Actually, no, I'm going to go 1-0. I'm going to go 1-0 Brentford, all right? I'm going to go 1-0 Brentford. And I will back Wissa from Brentford. He's one of their midfielders. He's about 5.5 mil. He's looked really dangerous in the last couple of games, and he has actually returned within the last couple of games. So, and he did score, the equaliser against Palace in the week. So I'm going to put Wissa as my player from Brentford to watch. I think he's a really good shout for this one, and I'm going to back Brentford 1-0, but it is going to be a tough game. So, yeah, that's my shout. Daniel, what are your thoughts on this one?
I'll say Leeds 1-0, and I'll say Sinistera from Leeds.
Sinistera. He's an interesting one. I've seen him. A lot of people talk about him as a differential this week. So yeah, what makes you pick him?
Well, I'd not seen too much of him. I saw compilations in the preseason, courtesy of the FPL Amateurs Oz, Quinton Dunn. He was sending around compilations of Sinistera. It was almost like and one handing out the basketball street mixtapes. He's promoting players left, right, and center. People you had to get into your teams. And I had a look at that. I thought he was an unbelievable player, and I just think very, very technically gifted, very skillful, very quick. Almost, I don't want to say a replacement for Rafinha, but very much that kind of model of player. And now with Rodrigo out for the next few weeks, I think we might start seeing a bit more of him. I do believe he scored against Everton as well.
Yeah, that's right. So you think he could be a Rodrigo replacement? Obviously, everyone's looking for a Rodrigo replacement. Do you think he could be the one then?
Possibly. I think they're similarly priced, actually. I think Sinistera is a 6.0. Rodrigo might have been a 6.2 but when I sold him. But yeah, I'm going to say Sinistera and 1-0 leads.
Wow, so we've both gone for a 1-0. It's just either way. And I've picked a Brentford midfielder, and Daniel has picked a Leeds midfielder. So both predicting a tight game there. Welcome to the screen, Welcome to the stream, ZX Row Ray. If you've got, I've just seen actually, you've just got a question in about Haaland. We are going to take questions at the end, so we'll go through that. Haaland is one of the topics for this week, so we will go through that one. But welcome to the stream. We'll go on now to Chelsea West Ham. So we've got a London derby. This is a very intriguing game because obviously West Ham picked up a good point in the week against Spurs, and Chelsea lost again away from home, this time to Southampton. Reece James didn't play in the week. They reckon he's back now. Chelsea have also made some signings in the last couple of days. West Ham have got Paqueta. So yeah, this has potential to be a really interesting fixture. What are your thoughts on this one, Dan? And which player do you think is a must-have from this fixture?
This is a hard one because the last 2 weeks I've said Sterling and he scored. But
he's on form. He's on form, and he's looking sharp, isn't he? He's looking like he's getting on the end of things.
He's looking very, very good. But I'm also liking West Ham now that they have Paqueta. Mm-hmm. Only because they have Paqueta. Damo, don't get excited if you're watching this. Yeah. I'm only liking West Ham because they have Paqueta. I'm interested to see how Paqueta goes in the Premier League. I've actually got him in my team. It was more as an enabler move.
A Rodrigo replacement?
Yes, he was my Rodrigo replacement. Yep. That's and then also just to move players sideways, etc. And I can go through my team in a bit. But yeah, I got Paqueta in. He is a real unknown quantity in the Premier League, but he was absolutely unbelievable for Lyon and obviously for Brazil as well. So, you know what? Let's say 1-0 West Ham and Paqueta, just for something different. It's very, very left of centre.
Huge call, and another 1-0. We just had a question come in from Rahul. So Rodrigo replacement. We will go through that at the end with all the other questions. PSB's come in and said a Reece James double-digit haul incoming. And we've also had Andy chats FPL. I seriously can't believe how many people sold Reece. Well, I'll give my prediction now. I'm going to back Chelsea to win this one. I think they'll bounce back. They seem to do quite well in these London derbies at home. So I'll go with a 2-0 to Chelsea. And I think it is the time for Reece James to haul. So I agree with PSB. And I also agree that Andy chats FPL. I'm surprised because we knew it was just one game. We had the intel that Reece James was only missing the one game against Southampton. And a lot of people sort of thought, right, let's sell him. There's 6 million in him. He has injury problems. But, we know that in these home games, if he's played in that right wing back position, he's got such a high ceiling to score points and score goals. So I'm going to back Chelsea to win 2-0, and I'm going to back Reece James as the FPL player to have in this game. I'm expecting him to actually get on the score sheet tonight and or even the assist and produce a haul, because we are waiting for that big Reece James haul. So that's Chelsea versus West Ham. Let's go on to Nottingham Forest versus Bournemouth, which is another intriguing fixture because you've got Bournemouth who, no manager. didn't score in the week against Wolves, lost 9-0 the week before against Liverpool. And then you got Forest, who've lost their last 2 games against Tottenham and Man City without scoring a goal. But we have seen them win at home against lesser sides. They beat West Ham at home 1-0. They got the result at Goodison Park as well. So there is potential in there. They've also made 21 signings this season, which is an absolute record. So I feel like this could be a good game for Nottingham Forest assets. Anyone in particular that you've got your eye on, Dan, on this one? And what's your prediction for the score?
In these games, I think this is a very interesting game for both sides. Very early on in the season, whoever wins this could gain momentum. Whoever loses, you'd think that they're going to kind of, not there are whipping boys, but they could become the whipping boys, if that makes sense. Kind of just spiral down. In terms of a player to watch, I would always say Lingard, but
Lingard. He didn't play in the week against City, and I'm not sure why. If anyone who's watching knows why, I couldn't find anything. It was strange. I couldn't find anything anywhere to see why. I tried to check Forest forums. I couldn't see anything from the manager, because I was looking at him this week as maybe a Rodrigo replacement, but I didn't want to do it, and then he just decides not to play. I did. There is a player that's actually just come up in the comments, which I will talk about when in a second. Do you still want to go with Lingard then as your player, maybe, Dan, or you're not sure?
No, that's why I'm lost for a player. Actually, do you know who I will go with? And it's very left of centre again. I do like my Brazilian players. But they've just brought in, I'm not going to say Cafu, because apparently Quinton reckons he's Portuguese. He's not Brazilian. They've just brought in, Nottingham Forest have just brought in Renan Lodi, which is a left back.
From Atletico Madrid, yeah.
From Atletico Madrid. And he's also very attacking. So he plays very much kind of like, it's probably an unfair comparison to these players, but it's a Marcelo, Dani Alves, that even like Reguilon went to Atletico Madrid, and he's come to the Premier League. Renan Lodi's come to the Premier League. So he's that kind of fullback. So I'll say Renan Lodi, and I'll go with, let's say, 1-0 Nottingham Forest. I don't see a lot of goals.
No, I think that's a good prediction, and Lodi is an intriguing pick, and obviously everyone that plays FIFA and FIFA Ultimate Team will know he is phenomenal on FIFA Ultimate Team. So see if that translates into the Premier League. So really good call. I'm going to bring this one up because I've actually just drafted this player into my draft FPL draft side. Morgan Gibbs-White on set pieces, very attacking, and PSB reckons he's going to come good for Forest. It's a really good call. So it was a big signing, and he's looked really good in the last couple of weeks. He was buzzing around against Spurs last week, and he did come close. So I really like that pick. I'm not going to pick him as my pick because I've picked Brennan Johnson as one of my differentials this week. He's a striker. He's 5.9 million, so he's a real budget striker. He got 9 points against Everton a couple of game weeks ago. Got loads of points or goals and assists in the Championship, and did really well. And obviously Bournemouth, virtually do feel a bit like a Championship side at the moment. So these are the games where I think Brennan Johnson could be really, really good. But again, I think it could be a tight one. I'm going to back Forest. I'm going to go 2-0. And Brennan Johnson's going to be my pick. And I think it could be a good day for Nico Williams owners. I think a lot of people who own Nico Williams, like myself, were disappointed in the week because that was their only sub that could come on, and he got -1. So that was a real big kick in the teeth.
As well, yeah.
Yeah, even bigger for me because I didn't have Haaland. So it was just like a double whammy. Yeah. But this is the week where hopefully he makes it up to us. And Nottingham Forest, please keep the clean sheet. So I'm going to go 1-0, and I'm going to go Brennan Johnson as my differential. So we'll just move on now to Spurs versus Fulham. Before we do, if you're new to the stream, if you can just give the video a like, give us a subscribe if you're new here, and then give us a follow on all of the socials. And then our guest Daniel Capolaro at D10 Football, give him a follow. Really good Instagram page, so go check him out on there. Twitter as well, and he's also on TikTok. So give Dan a follow. You'll see some outrageous stuff on his Instagram, different skills, some ball mastery. Some really interesting stuff on there. So let's go to the Spurs Fulham game. I'll give you this one, Dan, to start with. Let's hear your prediction, and I'd like to hear your player because there's a few to pick from. I think from even both sides, I'd say for this one. So
There
yeah,
is.
let's hear what you think.
We've got some favourites here, and I'm conflicted as well because in my draft I've got Emerson and Mitrovic. In my classic, I've got Andreas Pereira. Brought Pereira in,
Ah.
but I think Spurs are just looking too good at the moment.
I think we're looking solid. It's a solid kind of organised team that haven't quite got going in terms of the Southampton game. We were brilliant going forward, and we looked well drilled. But since then, we've kind of just been getting by. We've remained unbeaten, and we're not yet to quite click. But we haven't lost a league game for I think 16 games under Conte or 15 games, and it's ticking over nicely. So
it's
going to be an
well.
interesting one. Yeah,
I think what will be interesting is how Spurs deal with Mitrovic. Because we've seen even the best defenses struggle to deal with him so far. You know, especially on I think the first game week against Liverpool was the most surprising for all of us. We were doing the watch along. We were very surprised.
Yeah, when he got the double, he's looking fixture proof. Mitrovic, he looks fixture proof. No defender phases him. He's physical. He wins a lot in the air as well. So I think he's got that profile where, he gives defenders 90 minutes of hell at times. We saw that with Van Dijk.
Yeah, definitely. He just keeps popping up. He just keeps scoring. He keeps getting on the end of things. I think this could be. I'll say 3-1 Tottenham Hotspur.
3-1. Okay. Look, I wouldn't say no to that. So is your player, who's the player you're going to go with? Mitrovic still?
No, I think Harry Kane.
You're going to go Kane? Yeah, this is a good game for Kane. I think, and he's looking sharp. Looked good in the week against West Ham. He got the assist. He obviously got the double at Forest last week. So I think that's a good call. So 3-1, and then Harry Kane for Dan. So, but he still likes Mitrovic. So if you are a Mitrovic owner or you're looking to bring him in, you can still bring him in because he's run even the best teams ragged this season. In the Liverpool game. So that's Dan's prediction. I'm going to go with. I want to go with 3-1 is a sort of scoreline I'm feeling as well. Because Mitrovic just seems to be one of those players I can just imagine popping up with a goal. But I'll go. I'll do something different. I'll say 2-0. I'll go 2-0 to Spurs, and I'll go with. I think Richarlison and Kane will get on the score sheet. I think Richarlison will play this game. I think he's going to give Fulham a really hard time because he just looks so sharp when he come on against West Ham and when he come on against Forest. But I will also back Harry Kane as the pick. This is his fixture. He loves this fixture. And I'll say I think he might get a goal, maybe an assist. So I think Harry Kane is the pick, and I'll go 2-0 to Spurs. So going to be another big London derby there. Jackson Fisher's just asked a question. Welcome to the stream. We are going to take questions at the end, so stay tuned into the stream, and we will take all the questions at the end. Let's go on to Wolves versus Southampton now. So we've got Wolves who are just struggling to score goals at the moment. They're playing good football, but they just can't score. And then you've got Southampton who just had a brilliant result against Chelsea. So this is going to be another game where it could really go either way. I'll predict it first. I'm going to go 1. You know what? I'll go 1-1. I think Wolves will grab a goal. So I'm going to go 1-1. And I'm going to back Ward-Prowse as my pick because he'll come up also in the differentials later on. But he has got, I think it was 5 goals in 9 games in this fixture and an assist. And he did score in this one last year. And he was playing behind the forward against Chelsea. So he's in a bit more of an advanced role. So Ward-Prowse is my pick, and I'm going to go 1-1. So, Dan, what are your thoughts on this one?
It was exactly who I was going to pick. I was going to say Ward-Prowse because I think this is the game where I'll say one further. I think he scores from a free kick. I think there's a Ward-Prowse.
I love it.
I think there is a Ward-Prowse free kick in this game, and then I think he will kick on for the next couple of games. Like he goes on that run. He has those small runs. I think this is a start. I think Ward-Prowse will score. He'll score from a free kick. I'll say 2-0 Southampton.
2-0 Southampton. I think that's a fair prediction. Like we said, it could go either way. And Dan is also back in Ward-Prowse. Completely agree. I think this could be his time. And in that more advanced position now, he could become a really interesting pick. So I've gone 1-1. Dan's gone 2-0 Southampton, but we've both picked Ward-Prowse. Questions coming from Joe Woolrich. We will take the questions at the end, but keep them coming in. Keep all the comments coming in the chat as well. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know if we've missed any players as well. So now we'll go to the one that everyone's been talking about: Aston Villa versus Haaland. And we will use this game now to talk about our topic for the week. And the topic for the week is: will Haaland score 3 hat-tricks in a row? I'm going to say no, because of the law of averages. I think the 2 home games kind of felt like it was a given in a way, as ridiculous as that sounds. But I do think he might score 2 goals because Aston Villa have had a poor start to the season. I can see him running Tyrone Mings absolutely ragged and dragging him out of position everywhere, and and scoring those goals in the box. But I can't see him getting 3. I think it will be 2. So I'm going to back Haaland for a couple of goals. He'll get a nice sub just after the 60th minute mark and get him ready for the Champions League. And then I'll back Man City to win this one 3-0, and I'll pick Haaland as the player. So Dan, let us know your thoughts. And do you think Haaland's going to get another hat trick?
I'm going to say yes. I think he does. I just think it's ridiculous because there's absolutely no way I would have sat in game week 1 and said that he's going to score 9 goals in 3 weeks. But after seeing the past 2 matches, after seeing Aston Villa's form,
it's woeful, isn't it? It's why their form is just
they're not great. Like the goal they scored was Douglas Luiz from a corner. So
yeah, that's right.
It's it's just not Aston Villa that we were seeing either. Like even at the start of this season, like 4 game weeks ago, when there was like Ollie Watkins, Ings. I think is Coutinho actually injured? Did he injure himself in that?
No,
in
he's
that
back now.
match?
I think he come on. Yeah, he's back now. So he's back in the frame, but I'm not sure how fit he is. He did come on against Arsenal in the week.
Okay. I think Arsenal could have scored a lot more than they did as well.
Yeah, they should have won more.
Yeah, they had a lot more chances, and maybe if Jesus just put one more in, probably would be saying the same as you. But I've just been hurt too much. The 2 points below the average this week because of Haaland. It's traumatized me. It's traumatic.
It is.
I'm saying that he is scoring a hat trick again.
Okay.
I've got him as my captain. I think this is going to be another absolute whitewash. I think this is just going to be one of those ridiculous games again, and they're going to bring everyone on from like the under 12s and 13s, like they did in the last game. I think it's 5-0, and the playing in Haaland. Yeah.
All right, so Dan's gone with 5-0. Do you think Haaland's going to be able to keep this up as over this Champions League period, over this busy schedule?
Yeah.
With more difficult games coming up, he has got tougher games coming up after this. This is probably the end of the easier run he's had in the last 3 weeks.
True.
So, do you think he will keep it up? What do you think on that?
I'll explain why I think it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Every other striker in the Premier League seems to be working for goals.
Yeah, it's true.
This guy is having 20 touches of the ball and scoring. How many goals he got now? 9 goals, 7 goals already? No, more than goals. 7. He would have, 9.
It's on a plate, isn't it? It's all on a plate. And and people are calling him the cheat code, aren't they? But I think I said earlier, I think Man City are the cheat code.
The cheat code, exactly.
And not Haaland.
They've got the best. They've got the team that is the best in the world at keeping the ball, the best possessional play, the best at creating chances. So you've got players that are the leading assists for the previous seasons in this team, and you have one of the most prolific goal scorers that I suppose we've seen in a long time Like we were joking, saying he's Ruud van Nistelrooy with muscles, or he's just
Yeah,
he's a 6 foot Gerd Muller. Like,
yeah.
but he is. He's exactly that,
Mm.
and it's crazy. Just seems everything he touches turns into goal, and he's not having to exert himself. He's not making a lot of runs in behind. He's not having to come and take on defenders. He's not having defenders kick him in the back of the legs. He's just there and he's scoring. So that's the reason why I feel it can keep going, is because of how Man City play.
Interesting stuff, and I agree as well. And I think I think with him, because obviously, like we said before, everyone's saying he's a cheat code, he's a cheat code. But Dan, you put it exactly how I see it, and it's Man City just create a ton of chances regardless. When you put a world class scorer up there, he's going to put away those chances, right? We saw it when Aguero was there as well. Look, Haaland's obviously getting bigger numbers than Aguero right now, but Aguero is still hitting sort of 20 to 30 goals a season anyway, and some big returns. And City, they just create so many chances. So I'll say I personally think they are the cheat code. They've got the coach, they've got the system, they've got the players. And Haaland, and we've seen it with his goals. They've all been obviously good movement, but they're all 6-yard box type of goals. It's not, Lionel Messi dribbling around 5 or 6 players and scoring wonder goals and wonder free kicks. It's really just putting away those chances. We have had a question from Hamza Ijaz. We're going to take all questions at the end. So we've got about 6 or 7 questions now, which we will take at the end and go through in some details. If you are new to the channel, give the video a like and give us a subscribe. We are going to be doing a live watch along 10 minutes before the Liverpool-Everton game, or Everton-Liverpool game, will be going live, and we will be giving our analysis on the Everton-Liverpool game for the 90 minutes. We can't wait for that one. So that's Villa versus Man City. Both of us are back in City and Haaland. So let's go into the next one. Brighton-Leicester. Brighton lost in the week against Fulham, which we actually did predict on this stream last week. So when we did the midweek stream, we did predict that Fulham would probably throw a banana skin in. But it is Brighton against a Leicester side who are just all over the place at the moment. They can't buy a win right now. They can't even buy a player right now because the transfer window's closed. And I think they only bring one player in, which is a big shame. I do feel a bit for Brendan Rodgers. They've got big money for Fofana, but they've not been able to bring anyone in. I'm going to go with a Brighton win, 2-1. And I'm going to back. I think Maddison will probably might grab something for Leicester because he's still looking sharp. But my player will probably be, I'm going to look at maybe I'm liking McAllister. He's been scoring a couple of pens for Brighton. He's got a couple of double-digit hauls. So I'll back Brighton maybe for another pen and a 2-1 win for Brighton with McAllister, the Argentinian with the Scottish surname, to get the headline. So, Daniel, what are your thoughts on this one?
I agree with pretty much almost everything you're saying there about Brighton and about Leicester. So I'm going to go with Brighton as well. I'm going to wrap this one up quick. I brought McAllister into my draft this week. He was just floating around.
You've done well. I actually tried to get it. I went to get him this week, and I saw he was gone, and I was thinking, who's DC? The initials DC, and he's been stolen away from me. So
sorry about
not
that.
Happy about that.
I'm not happy everyone else. The issue is now, because of where my team's sitting in the draft, anytime a new player comes in, like Paqueta, Anthony, Renan Lodi, I can't get him. It's too hard. He goes to the teams where people aren't playing, and then they just take them. They sit in their team and do nothing.
It's so true. And then
anyway,
well, that's why I don't mind losing this week, because I could go to the bottom of the queue. I could take Anthony, and then I have some leverage to maybe take some of your good players, and then we might be able to drag you down from top of the league. But what's your so you've gone McAllister. What's your score prediction?
I think 2-0 to Brighton. I'm not going to say McAllister though. I think Trossard. Trossard will be my player. I'm just saying I'm glad you said McAllister because I brought him in. But I will say
okay.
I'll say Trossard for this one. 2-0 and Trossard. I don't see Leicester scoring.
Yeah, no, I like the Trossard pick. I see he's been quite popular this
week.
He's a
great player. Great player.
He's very good. He's almost like a
technical.
He's like a Hazard. He's kind of like a a B version of Hazard in the way that he dribbles and turns players inside out. Obviously,
Yeah.
he's Belgium as well, but I really like him as well. And he's someone that he has his flashes of brilliance during the season for a couple of months, and then he randomly disappears from the side.
Do you think we could see him in the World Cup?
Hope so. I'd like to. You never know. I don't know how Belgium are looking now, but I'm assuming players like Dries Mertens and stuff are probably a little bit beyond their time now. So, we might see someone like Trossard in there if he keeps his form. I know he does get in the squad most week,
Yeah, exactly.
Most
And you
squads
think
and
about
stuff.
it.
So
You think about it, the mainstays in Belgium, or like you just said, your Dries Mertens, your Eden Hazard hasn't played for a year. I don't feel like I just haven't seen it. So yeah, who knows? Who knows? Maybe he gets a World Cup call up. Would be cool for him.
Yeah, I agree, and I think he's a good pick for this week. So Dan's gone Trossard. I've gone with McAllister. And we're both backing a Brighton win in that one. So we'll end the fixture preview before we move on to a couple more topics with Manchester United versus Arsenal. This is a really big game because Man United have had a couple of games now where they've kept it tight. They've got a couple of clean sheets. They've organised the defence. They've stopped playing Maguire.
Three games. Yeah.
No, two, because the Liverpool one they did concede at the end.
Okay.
Salah scored. So they've had a couple. They've obviously got Martinez and Varane at the back. Casemiro's in there. And this is a big game for Arsenal because there's a lot of people on triple up Arsenal, and they've had the good times. They've seen them play Bournemouth. They've seen them play Villa. They've seen them play Leicester. But this is a tough game. Man United won this fixture last year. And Man United, despite all the criticism they get, despite all the memes, they are still a tough side to play at Old Trafford in big matches. And they're looking more organised. They've got more of a structure. They've got a bit more of a system. So I'm going to back Man United in this one. I think they will win 2-1. I think they'll edge it. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet in this one because Arsenal are playing good football. They are looking sharp. So I'm going to back a Man United 2-1 win. I can see someone like Ronaldo emerging off the bench or maybe even from the start and maybe scoring this one because he did score a double in it last year. But he isn't my pick. And Dallow's obviously been looking really good as well, who I know has been in Dan's team. So, he's someone else I got my eyes on. But again, he's not my pick. I'm going to go with Jadon Sancho. He scored the goal against Leicester. He's looking sharp. He scored in his last game at Old Trafford against Liverpool. And I think this is a great fixture for him. It's it's the Super Sunday game in England, and I think it's going to be a really good fixture for Sancho. So I'm going to go 2-1. Jadon Sancho is my pick. Bora TV, how was our game week? I tell you what, we'll go through that one in the next couple of topics because it's probably not something we quite want to talk about right now. It wasn't. Neither of us owned Haaland, so it wasn't the best. But we have also had a couple of questions. One from Haider and one from Quinton Dunn. So we will be doing our Q&A shortly, so we haven't forgot about that. But 2-1 Man United. Dan, what's your thoughts on this one and who's your player?
You're going 2-1 Man United and Sancho. I think this is... It's actually really hard to say because for the reasons you gave about Arsenal, I don't think they've faced an informed side yet, if that makes... Is that fair to say? They haven't faced an informed side
I'd say
yet?
inform or a side with... I guess if you look at the teams they've played, you would expect any top 6 team to win those fixtures, really. If you pick them through the season and you looked at Palace away, Villa home, Fulham home, Bournemouth away, you'd look at it and think, if you're a top 6 side, you'd be winning those games. But Man United away, completely different. But if Arsenal win this, then, they really mean business. But it's going to be a tough one.
They'll be 6 from 6 if they win this, won't they?
Yeah, it'll be huge.
5 from 5 wins, so that's 15 points is already a lot to have by this stage of the season. Maximum points is crazy. No, I don't think any other side's got maximum points.
No, not yet.
I'm going to go... I think this could be one of those, classic, just absolute thrillers. Remember the old, Man United versus Arsenal from, 98, 99?
The crackers. The cracking games.
it could be one of them. This could be like a 3-2 or a 3-3 or something like that. Because both teams like to play. Both teams want the ball.
Mhm.
Um, it's very different from previous Man United teams that we've seen in, let's say, the last 2 seasons. Yeah, I'm going to go. Actually, I'll say it's going to be a draw. I think it's a high scoring draw. So I'm going to say 3-3 and Gabriel Jesus.
Gabriel Jesus, and you're going 3-3. So Dan's predicting a lot of goals in this one. He thinks it's going to be an open game. And he's backing Gabriel Jesus, who's obviously a very highly owned asset. He had his big haul in game week 2. Hasn't quite delivered in the other game week since then for his, considering his ownership. He's only had that one double-digit haul. But Dan is backing Gabriel Jesus to have a big week in a 3-3 draw. So that is our game week 6 fixture preview done. So now we're going to move on to a couple more topics. So we've obviously discussed the topic of will Haaland score another hat-trick this week. I said I think he'll get 2. Dan says he'll definitely get another hat-trick. So we'll see how that goes. We'll quickly talk through the best captains for this week and a curveball captain. So I'm just going to pull out the captains that I've picked this week as the best captains, and then I will name my curveball captain. So the captains I've gone with this week are Haaland. Of course, I think nothing else needs to be said about that one. Aston Villa away. Harry Kane against Fulham at home. Good record in the London derbies. Looking good for Spurs this season. Mo Salah scored 2 goals in this derby last year. I think, again, strong captain pick. And then my curveball, it's a player who I've owned for the last 2 game weeks who I had to take out this week to make get the funds in for Haaland, and it's Kevin De Bruyne. I'm still going to put him as my curveball because he got a nice rest in the week. This Villa team's going to be open. I just can't see Villa getting anything out of this game, so I'll pick De Bruyne as my curveball. So, Dan, is there anyone I've missed? And is there a curveball captain that you had in mind that isn't Kevin De Bruyne? So, who do you think?
And isn't Kevin De Bruyne? It's funny you've taken out KDB to make space for Haaland because I took out Bernardo Silva to make space for Haaland.
And Silva scored in this fixture last year, Bernardo Silva, a really, really good volley.
Yeah, and he got the assist on the weekend. And he scored, right, I think, the 2 games prior as well.
Yeah,
scored against Newcastle, and he scored. Was it Newcastle? There was another one where he made a return as well. It's been a shame with him actually because no one's really known if he's going to stay or not, and there's been so much like transfer speculation. Even when I got him in last week, there was still talk that Barcelona might buy him. Still, right up to the last minute. So I think now that he's stayed, he's going to become more essential as he was last season. I still think Luis Diaz. I think Luis Diaz is a bit of is the curveball. Apart from the other 3 are very obvious ones. I mean, look, my captain is Haaland and my vice is Salah. So, and I don't have Kane. So, I think, yeah, in terms of a curveball, it's either, it's Diaz or Bernardo Silva.
Good stuff, and a couple of really interesting curveball captains. I like those picks. If there's anyone that you recommend, put it into the comments. So we'll go on to some differential picks now, player picks. So here's a couple I've gone with. Player pick, I think, for the week, other than Haaland, I've put Harry Kane as a player pick with the Fulham game. In terms of differentials, I've gone with Brennan Johnson from Forest, who we spoke about. He's 5.9% owned. Really good fixture against Bournemouth at home. James Ward-Prowse, who we also discussed in the fixture review, 8.9% owned. Great record against Wolves. He's got 5 goals in 9 against them. And then another differential, 2.8% owned. Scored against Liverpool in the week. Technically scored 2 because he was probably about a centimetre offside. Does say he has a dead leg, but Eddie Howe said he should be fine to play. It's a new signing, Isaac, 2.8%. You're going to get great fixtures out of him as well if you put him in this week. He's got Palace at home. So I think there's some really good differentials. And then one last one who I've gone with is a Rodrigo replacement. Another Newcastle player. So he's 5 million. So if you were to swap Rodrigo out for him, you would save about 1.4 million. Almiron, 1.8% owned. He did score in his last home game against Man City, and similar to Isaac, you're going to get a really good run of games in the next 4, which includes the likes of Bournemouth, and it's pretty much, I think, 4 green fixtures in a row, including this Palace game. So, Dan, any thoughts on those differentials, and is there anyone else you think could be a really good pick for this game week?
Not that there's anyone else that I think would be a good pick, but I love that you said Almiron. I like Miguel Almiron. As a player, I absolutely love him. And I think he's important more so when St. Maximin is not in the team. Because Newcastle tend to try and feed a ball carrier or a player that will take on players or create something. And if it's not St. Maximin, generally it's Almiron. Almiron's got that pace as well. Like he'll drive the ball from deep and he'll take it. Different to St. Maximin, like he won't just stand people up. Or he can. Not saying that he doesn't take people on 1v1, but he is a lot more direct, I feel. A lot more direct. Whereas St. Max will dribble side to side, around, he'll try and go the long way. I think Almiron can be a big difference for Newcastle this week.
Good stuff. Yeah, look, I've got a feeling about Almiron. I'm liking his fixtures, and there's various options that you can swap Rodrigo with, and he's someone where you can save that little bit more money. So that's the differentials from us. Now we'll just quickly talk about our transfers. I'll quickly go through mine. I had 2 transfers. I had to bring De Bruyne out. Even if he hauls this week, I just needed Haaland in there. I needed him back in. We'll quickly bring up Bora TV's question, actually, whilst I quickly discuss my transfers. So my last game week would have been really good if I owned Haaland, but I didn't. So my game week wasn't very good because my team did really well other than Haaland. So, yeah.
How many points did you get?
I got 61 points. So if I was to add the Haaland, say I still captained Salah and then added the extra points from Haaland and didn't have, say Tony, who only got 1 point, I'm getting, about 78 points or so. So I'm looking good. So I've looked. I also did own Haaland in game week 1 and 2, and then I went with the De Bruyne switch, similar to Mark Southerns from Fantasy Football Scout, who's he's done it similar. We sort of went more with the eye test than what we did, the template in the EO, and it's obviously burnt us. But look, we move on. There's plenty of game weeks to go. So I've done De Bruyne out. I put Sean Longstaff from Newcastle in for 4.4 million. He's been getting some starts. He got an assist in the week, and he's just going to be in there just as some bench fodder, just someone that can just sit on my bench. So then I can upgrade Greenwood and play Haaland, and then play the 4-3-3. So that's my transfers. I had 2, so I didn't need to take a hit. Just a quick comment that's come in from Powdy Messi. I don't have Haaland, and I'm captaining Kane this week. Look, I actually think that's a good shout as well, because if Haaland does sort of limit himself to 1 goal, and you're only getting 60 minutes out of him, you still expect Kane to play more minutes. He's got the home game as well. So I don't think that's the worst option. But what we'll do, we'll quickly ask Dan what his transfers are, and then we're going to go on to the Q&A. We've got a number of questions that are going to come in, so we're going to bring them up and go through them. So if you are just joining the stream now, get your questions in before we go into the Q&A. Give the video a like and give us a subscribe as well. But Dan, let's hear your transfers.
Mate, my game week, 60 points.
Okay, that's not bad.
I'm fuming.
It's not bad without Haaland, though.
Yeah, I didn't have Haaland. That's the thing. But 60 points, and it's my first week below the average. So if I stayed above the average, I would have been like, okay, it's all right.
Welcome to the trenches. Welcome to the trenches.
Yeah,
that's where I am at the moment.
Yes, as we've talked about many times. But 60 points, no Haaland. Rodrigo was a shame because I think he was in a position he nearly scored, and then I don't know what Pickford did, man. He just some kind of 1 inch punch.
He did a Pickford and he decided to karate chop someone.
That was it, man. It just it's I don't know what it is. Pickford goes near people and just injures them. So it's proven. It's just happened more than once. And then, from the 60 points, I thought, look, I have to make some changes. I had to go Rodrigo out. I had Mahrez that was in my side. So, actually, no, sorry, I didn't have Mahrez. I already swapped Bernardo to Mahrez. And my team for this week is Paqueta moved out for Bernardo. I got Andreas
Nice.
in. So yeah, I had 2 free transfers, and I got Andreas in for. I'm trying to think of who was that. Rodrigo. So Andreas
Yeah.
for Rodrigo, Paqueta for Bernardo, and then that freed up Tony, who makes way for Haaland, and I've got the captain on him. So I've taken a hit in game week 6. It was either that or wildcard, and I thought for the fact of moving one player, it's not worth wildcarding. I've had good information from good sources. You know, they've told me make sure you're going to move at least 5 players if you're going to wildcard.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
Good
yeah, so
moves. Good
that's
moves.
kind of what I've gone with. Bit reactionary because Haaland may not
It's got
score
to
for the
be
next
done.
4 weeks, but what can you do? You have to live and die by the EO.
Yeah, no, you've done the right thing. And look, I was saying it just before the previous deadline. Do I do the -4 for Haaland? Do I do the -4 for Haaland?
Yeah,
And I didn't do it because I thought, you know what, I've got De Bruyne. It's all right. They got Forest. But Pep being Pep thought De Bruyne doesn't need to play this game. Haaland
yeah,
does. And if I'd just done that -4, then, I probably wouldn't be in the trenches, as Andy Chats FPL has mentioned. But look, if you are in the trenches, if you're watching the stream and you're in the trenches and your team's not looking good or it's not doing well, don't worry. It's game week 6. Obviously, come up to game week
yeah.
6. There is
Plenty.
so long to play, and we've
32
also
games.
still got chips, wildcard 2, unlimited transfers, double game weeks, injuries,
Well,
Champions League, European football, FA Cup, everything to come into play. So much is going to change.
I was
Also,
gonna say,
just to add, sorry, Dan, just before you said, just
go
to
on,
add,
go on.
Man United, Arsenal will be playing Thursdays to Sundays soon. So that will change things. Spurs, Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool will all be playing Champions League. I think West Ham are
Yeah,
playing in the Borat Cup Conference League competition. So, there's a lot of European football going on. But sorry, Dan, you wanted to add. So yeah, don't worry if you're in the trenches. You can get out of it pretty quickly. You just need
yeah.
a little bit of patience.
What I wanted to add, and it goes on this point about the trenches, and it talks about the template and how it's affected players this season. Because previously, and I think you predicted this as well, Matt. You said, look,
Mm.
next season is going to be very interesting because people aren't going to be able to rely on a perma captain, which we've already seen. There's no perma captain. Otherwise, everyone would have had Haaland straight away. And that's kind of what brought us to this conversation. I was in a space this morning, and FPL Chief or FPL Hints Chief,
Mm-hmm.
he was talking that the top 100K people that own Cancelo, Diaz, Salah, Haaland, and Jesus, which you'd say are 5 um,
Highly
template,
owned players.
and then you add in another one, Trent Alexander-Arnold. So there's 6 template players there. That combination of players, I have all these players in my team. There's only 30% of the top 100K that have those players in their team. If you had those players in your team last season, you were having weeks over 70 points. There was only maybe 4 or 5 weeks where if you had James as well, then you would have reached over 100. Like it would have been jokes, and everyone knew that Salah was the captain. So it's been very unpredictable. It's been very hard to hard to read, hard to predict at the moment. And the players that everyone felt was going to perform, not that they've underperformed, but if you had different combinations of players, then those together on certain weeks have given greater hauls, greater points. Like for instance, uh, Edison had a clean sheet, Cancelo had a clean sheet and goal, and Bernardo got an assist. Last season, you grabbed the BPs as well, but last
It's
week,
true.
Haaland takes the 3 BPs.
And
So
Alvarez too.
yeah, and Alvarez got 2. Yeah, exactly. But see, if Alvarez gets 2 and he only played as much as he did, and Cancelo might have got the BPs last season. Like that's just the way. What about last season when KDB would score a pen and they give him the BPs? That was just like that kind of stuff. So it's been very hard to predict, and definitely there's like 32 game weeks left after this one. So
Plenty of time. There's plenty of time. And I think like with FPL all the time, it comes down to timing, right? If you had De Bruyne game week 2, you're getting 14 points against Bournemouth. Haaland didn't really do anything other than assist. You could have owned Son. He's blanked for 5 weeks. But, give it a few more game weeks. He picks his form up, grabs a double against someone, grabs a hat trick. He's not going to blank forever. Saka as well. He's going to pick up form. Players like Bowen, these guys will be back. And it's all about timing in FPL and when you put these guys in and when you own them. So wise words as well from Dan, though, and some really interesting stuff that he's taken away from the space he was in earlier with FPL Hint. So good stuff there from Dan. What we'll do now, we'll stop talking about the trenches because it's not the it's not the greatest subject. It's it doesn't feel good to be in the trenches. It's not fun. So we're going to go into the Q&A now. So plenty of questions. I'm going to start bringing them up. If you are just tuning into the stream, get your questions in the Q&A now so we can answer them. Give this video a like, give us a subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this every week. And also UCL Fantasy. I'm going to be doing Champions League Fantasy podcast and Champions League Fantasy content as well. Really enjoyed that game last season. I managed to finish in the 6K position globally. So it ended up being a nice finish for me. Really enjoyed it. So if you're new to it, go check it out. I've also got a free mini league. But let's bring up some questions. Let's go through it. So we've got this first one from Cannon Fodder. And he's asked us, opinion on Robertson to James for a -4. Straight out, I'm going to say no. I just do not see the need to do it with this Everton game and also with Wolves at home next week, who just do not score goals. So I'm going to say no. Dan?
All I'll say is that's what we said about a -4 for Haaland. He went and scored a hat-trick.
Yeah, true.
But look, and you also, wasn't he your player that you said it in Chelsea's?
He was, but I think for a -4, with the fixtures you're going to get for Robertson, I'm not really sure if it's worth bringing him in. We've actually got someone joining the stream here. It looks like FPL Amateurs of Oz has joined. Unfortunately, he is in a Man United shirt, so I do apologise to viewers for that. Welcome to the stream.
Just to resolve any fixture discrepancy.
Yeah. Welcome. Welcome to the stream, Q. Well, first and foremost, are you ready for game week 6?
Yeah, mate. I've been ready since I made my transfers about 5 o'clock this morning, mate. So get in early and stress-free day.
Good stuff. And welcome to the stream. Q is FPL Amateurs of Oz. He did provide us the fixtures, and yet one of the fixtures was the wrong way around. We just thought we'd add that in. General consensus for this one, Cannon Fodder, is not to take a hit. We'll quickly go on to the next question, and Q can help out with some of these questions now he's in the stream. We had this question from Andy Chats FPL. Question for me. Are you still on KDB? And if so, are you giving him the armband? No, I'm not. Armband's with Haaland. KDB has left my side. And that's a player and a topic that, I'm just going to lock KDB away and forget about him because, he's really let me down the last 2 weeks. So, he is not my captain. We had a question from Loz K.S. Kulusevski or Robertson for the next 2. Mind Kulu has City next game week. Look, Kulusevski did score against City last season in the away game, and Spurs won that fixture 3-2. So I think he's a fixture-proof player. And he's got Fulham this week as well. So I'll probably still put Kulusevski as a midfielder over the next 2. He's an attacking player. I like to back my midfielders. So that's my pick. We'll give this one to you, Q, and then Dan, let us know what you think. So Q, what do you think?
I actually think now that ownership for Robertson's dropped, I think that Robertson's a decent pick for the next 2. Kulusevski, I think he's looked really good this season, but also on a side note, Spurs haven't looked the greatest the last few weeks. So,
yeah, true.
But I think both are good options because they're not really highly owned either. So I think those are 2 good options, obviously in different positions. But probably Robertson for me for a 2-week sort of punt.
Cool. And Dan?
Yeah, between the 2, Robertson. So
we've got 2 Robertsons and then we've got 1 Kulusevski. Obviously, I'm a Spurs fan, so maybe I've been a little bit biased there, but, I feel like he can score at any given moment. And I think the Spurs attack will click soon, and that includes Son. But anyway, we had this question from ZX Ray. Does Haaland start? Yes, I think he does. Q and Dan, thoughts?
Yeah, I think he does start, unfortunately, for the people that are going to captain him this week. But I think 40-minute or maybe even a first half cameo from Haaland, and they might be up 2 goals, and he might get some rest.
And Dan?
I hope he starts.
Hope he starts.
I think if he starts, it's another hat trick.
Well, there you go. So we all think he's going to start, and Dan thinks it's going to be another hat trick. I went with 2 goals, and Q thinks he might be limited to maybe an hour. So
I think he'll get a goal.
Think he'll get a goal?
But
yeah, he'll get a goal. He's playing against Tyrone Mings. So we'll go on to
Mings is a good option now, mate.
So we're going to the next question from Rahul Kumar. Best Rodrigo replacement. We've named a few in this stream. I really like Almiron at 5 million. You're going to save some money. You can then invest that money into another position. You get a number of green fixtures in the next few games, which includes Palace at home this week. Also includes Bournemouth. There's Brentford in there at home as well. So he's got some really good fixtures in the next 4. Almiron's my pick. And if St. Maximum's injured, as Daniel mentioned earlier on in the stream, Almiron might be able to carry a lot more of the attacks for Newcastle. So that's my Rodrigo replacement. We'll go to Dan on this one because he was a Rodrigo owner. So who is the best replacement?
I don't know who the best replacement is, but the coolest one's Paqueta.
Paqueta? So you've gone with a cool option? 6 mil for Paqueta?
I'm just going to try him. Because, like I said, I loved him at Lyon. Brazilian player. He's got the razzle and dazzle, but the way he plays, he's more like you wouldn't say he's like an Anthony or like even Ronaldinho or anyone like this. He's more like Kaká, and he makes a lot of assists. He's a massive playmaker for Lyon, so I'm assuming he's going to do the same thing for West Ham. And he's an unknown quantity, isn't he? But in terms of the money, because when Rodrigo gets better, I'm going to bring him back in. I think it's an easy swap.
Good stuff. And Q, anyone that springs to mind?
I think if you got 0.1 to go up from Rodrigo, I think Sinistera. I think he showed last week, got that really good goal, but I think this week you're going to see a bit more flair. So I'm back in Sinistera this week. I've picked him up in about 3 of my draft leagues, and I think he's due for a big one.
There you go. Sinistera from Leeds is Q's pick. I've gone with Almiron, and Dan has gone with Paqueta from West Ham. So we had a question from Jackson Fisher. Should I start Perisic or Andreas? This is a tough one. Because a lot of people think Perisic might not play. Dan wants Andreas because he's transferred him in this week. You know what? It's a tough one. Look, I can see Sessegnon starting this game and Perisic then being saved for the Champions League. But then I can also see Perisic getting his 1 hour and then Sessegnon coming on for the last 30 minutes because, Perisic is playing well. And there's no easy games at the moment in the Premier League for Spurs. So I'd probably say Perisic and then just hope that if he doesn't start, that he doesn't come on. Because I think if he doesn't start, I don't think he'll come on. So I'd start Perisic over the 2. Q?
I'm going to side with Andreas this week because I think Mitrovic is going to score, and I think it's going to be a cross/corner from Andreas. So for me, I think Perisic might, if he does get benched, still get like 15, 20 minutes, and he can do damage. But I favour Andreas this week.
Cool. And Dan?
Great shout, Q. Great shout. That's great for my draft. That's great for my classic. I'm enjoying everything about that competition.
As long as I'm not versing you this week, mate. That's the main thing. So you can score as much as you want this week.
I'm saying Andreas.
Andreas?
Personally, I would start Andreas because I don't have Perisic. So Andreas.
So we've got 2 Andreases and we got 1 Perisic. So hopefully that helps you, Jackson. And thanks for tuning in to the stream. So we've had a question from Joe Woolrich. Sanchez or Henderson a better replacement for Ramsdale? So Ramsdale is injured for this fixture. We're not sure when he's going to come back. It does potentially look like a short-term injury. This is an interesting one because Sanchez has done brilliant for Brighton so far this season. They've got a really good defence. And Henderson, top scoring keeper. He's got a really good record from pens. He's getting a lot of save points. I want to back Henderson. Because I remember how good he was for Sheffield United in the Premier League last time. And the penalty record is just brilliant, because if they give away more penalties and he saves more penalties, you're going to have some double-digit scores from him. It's all going to add up at the end of the season, and he's still a good price, and he's getting so many saves. So I'm picking Henderson, despite him playing for Forest. Doesn't concern me at all. So Henderson for me. Dan?
Yeah, I'm saying Henderson after I saw his interview with Nottingham Forest talking about Manchester United. So yeah, I hope he does really well. I hope he gets gold as well.
Yeah. Henderson for Dan and Q?
My answer is going to be a little bit tricky. I think Henderson probably has the bigger floor just for the save points and save potential, but I think Sanchez probably has a better chance at a clean sheet this week. So I'm backing Solanke, your favourite striker in the Prem at the moment. Matt, I think he's going to score this week. So I think that will cancel out the clean sheet. But there's a side option. I'm not sure why Raya isn't being mentioned in this, but I think Raya is definitely an option worth looking at as well, especially for the next sort of 4 to 5 weeks at least.
Yeah, David Raya is a good shout. He's in my side. I would like a clean sheet from David Raya. He hasn't been getting clean sheets, but he's still been getting bonus points, save points. And he got 6 points in game week 4 without keeping a clean sheet. So impressive stuff. So yeah, look at David Raya.
He conceded 2 goals as well in that match as well.
I think that was the 1-1 against Everton, or was it not?
Oh, 1-1, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It could be made up. My facts are usually here and neither there. So
all good, Q. All good, Q. So there you go. That's our replacement. So thanks for joining the stream, Joe. So we have a question from Hamza Jazz. So he's asked, hi, which one you can select for the next 2 to 3 game weeks max from the following? 1, Leandro Trossard. 2, Morgan Gibbs-White. 3, Miguel Almiron. 4, James Ward-Prowse. Well, you've literally picked all the players that we had picked as differentials. So Ward-Prowse, Almiron. We also said we like White and Trossard. So, yeah, if I had to select one for the next 2 to 3 game weeks, I'll back James Ward-Prowse. Yeah, I'll back James Ward-Prowse. The set-piece threat. He's in this new position behind the forwards. Southampton have got some good fixtures. He's due a free kick. He's due another pen. He's due goals from open play. So I'm going to back Ward-Prowse. We'll go with you, Dan, as well, just to give your thoughts.
Yeah, JW. It's got to be JW.
JW Prowse.
Yep.
There you go. And Q.
I think if you can do the 6.5, Ward-Prowse is a great option. But Gibbs-White, I love that option actually because he is playing in a decent position, behind Brennan Johnson. So I think either one of those two, depending on how much money you have.
Good stuff. All right. So now we'll go into our next question from Haida Akalaula. He's asked, hey guys, which 2 players should I start from Trippier, Nico, and Martinelli? Ooh, this is a tough one. I think you've got to play Trippier for a set-piece threat. Palace at home as well. They're quite vulnerable from set plays. So I'd definitely start Trippier. And then Martinelli and Nico is a tough one. Purely for the fact that Bournemouth just aren't looking good in front of goal at the moment. I feel like this could be the week for Nico Williams. And then you've just got to hope that Man United's improved defence can keep Martinelli quiet. But look, that's tough. It's either Trippier, Martinelli, or Trippier, Nico. I'm not going the Martinelli-Trippier combination. But yeah, I'll finalise Trippier, Nico for me. Dan?
I'm going Trippier. I would say Trippier.
And the second one?
Well, if you got Trippier, you wouldn't have Nico Williams, like you said. So I'd probably say Martinelli and Trippier. Yeah, because Martinelli's been playing well. Arsenal are favourable. Nico Williams, you're hoping for an assist, really, aren't you? Not a clean sheet. Whereas Trippier's been doing all of the above. So
there you go. And Q?
This is actually a tough one. I think Trippier is the easy one. But in terms of Nico, I think you saw the last 2 matches, City and Spurs, that Royal from Spurs and then Cancelo from City have gotten into really good positions and sort of had their way in that attacking area. And I think Nico showed against City that he can still get into good areas. So, I'm backing Nico Williams this week. I think Martinelli might get a little dodgy assist this week, but I think that Nico could go bang this week, in my opinion.
So you'd saying Trippier and Nico because he's asked for 2 players? You think those 2?
Yeah, Trippier and Nico. Yeah, Trippier is the easy one for me, but yeah, Nico, I think just.
Good stuff. All right, so we've had a question. So you can't answer this one, Q, because Quentin did actually answer this one ask this question prior to coming into the stream. So Q's asked us, do you guys think Jota/Darwin being back enhances Salah or hinders? I actually think it enhances him because it gives him, I feel like Jota and Darwin, they might create, drag defenders out. It gives defenders other players to worry about. It might then give Salah more opportunities in goal. It also gives other players for Salah to provide assists to. They also might win pens. So then that helps Salah as well because we know he likes to score his pens. So I'm going to say it enhances Salah and doesn't hinder him. Dan?
Look, I think it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Like, Salah has had that same option or that same support around him with Luis Diaz, I feel. Because Luis Diaz drags a lot of players
he does
toward him. Are Jota and Darwin going to do that as well as Luis Diaz? I think they're different types of players. I did make a joke with Q because Q was like, oh yeah, Darwin's back now. He's just going to headbutt someone else, isn't he? But, if he can control his temper, I think he'll be all right. Jota, we haven't even seen yet, have we?
No, he's been injured all season.
No.
So it's a bit of an unknown quantity. Whether it enhances or hinders, I think we'll find out tonight if both of them play. I don't think it makes any difference.
Well, there you go, Q. There's some analysis for you.
Thanks for making an easy option for me, Dan.
There you go.
I'm not willing to make that decision because, like, Diaz provides all of what Darwin and what Jota would provide, and maybe more. So, is one of their is their inclusion going to help Salah or I don't think it hinders, but I don't think it helps either.
Well, there you go, Q. Yeah. There's your answers. There's one. I think it helps. Dan doesn't think, isn't sure, or sorry, isn't sure. He just thinks it's not going to make any difference. So either way, I think you're fine with Salah. Bora TV asked thoughts on Robertson. So we had a similar question earlier. He said 4 attacking returns versus Everton in the last 4 meetings. Silly me bought him in the wild card last game week. You know what? I think he could be a good pick for this game week. So I think you're fine with him and with the upcoming fixtures. We know Robertson, once he clicks into gear, gets assists, gets goal returns, and he ends up being a good FPL asset. So Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. I think Robertson, if you can't afford Trent, you should have Robertson. That's generally the rule of thumb, I feel.
Well, there you go. I think that's fair. And I think, is a good player to have. Welcome to the stream, FPL Penguin. Thanks for tuning in. Regin asked us our Rodrigo replacement. We actually have already answered this one. We went with Almiron, also Krause, Sinistera, and then Dan's actually done Paqueta. So hopefully that helps you out. A couple more questions from Connor Christopher. Hi, bro. I lost a bet during preseason. I'm not allowed to make a transfer, and you won't believe my rank. I'm currently 5th in the whole world. Could you go look at my team? Look, I would love to look at your team. If you want to, tag me in it on Twitter or send it to me on Twitter or on Instagram at FPLMattDay. Then that would be brilliant. I'd love to see it. Send your team in.
You got 100 points this week.
100 points. There you go. And that just shows you. I also did hear number 1 in the world hasn't made a transfer all season. He's just left his team, so he's probably just a casual, and he probably doesn't even know he's number 1 in the world. It's pretty phenomenal stuff.
So crazy.
Yeah, well done, Connor. And if you've just left your team, then I'm assuming you've probably not used any chips and stuff. So, yeah, as Andy Chats FPL says, that is mental. He also, and Solanke Wells says, yeah, look, I like Solanke. Yeah, look, that's a story for another time. When he finally scores a goal, I'll explain it in a bit more detail. That guy looks like he plays football on ice skates. Yeah, that is a fair assessment at the moment. One of our Facebook users. And I think that's from this should be someone from Quinton's page, FPL Amateurs of Oz on Facebook. Is it worth transferring Edison to Pipe? I think he means Pope to facilitate some funds. Yes,
I swear it wasn't me, mate. That's usually me.
To answer your question, I'm assuming you mean Nick Pope. I think it is worth it. Newcastle have got some really good fixtures coming up. Lots of green. He's getting points, just as many points as Edison. He's getting lots of saves. Q and Dan, yes or no?
Yeah, I think it's a good option. I think Pope's sort of like the Ferrari version of David Raya for a little bit better defense. So yeah, I love it.
And Dan,
I have Edison, so I'll say no.
Say no. No,
Yeah.
Comment. Moha Games, welcome to the stream. And I think you've also wrote something in Arabic, which apologies. I can't read Arabic, but welcome to the stream.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, there you go. There's Q's response. And then Andy Chats FPL was asked, have to play Martinelli over Nico, in my opinion. Relying on a Forest clean sheet doesn't seem like a smart play. I think that's a fair assessment. Martinelli will have the low on toe, so I'm not sure if Q will agree with that one. Maybe, I don't know if Dan...
Mate,
Dan,
it won't be
Della
that I have to be worried about, mate.
Yeah. Dan, I know you've got...
It'll be Martinez, mate, with his giant pocket.
I don't think so. I don't think
so. Should I replace Martin as the goalkeeper? I think so. Villa are looking poor, not keeping clean sheets. It's not the Martinez of 2 years ago where he's making saves left, right, and centre. So, thoughts on that one, Q?
No, I don't think. I think Pope's a better option. Sort of, if you're looking at a 5.0 goalkeeper.
Dan,
should you replace Martinez?
I
would have never had Martinez in the first place.
Well, there you go, Rojan. It's time to get rid of Martinez. And then Moho Games has come in with another comment, and then he's just commented Algeria. So I'm assuming he is obviously in Algeria, which means he loves Riyad Mahrez, who Dan absolutely loves. So welcome to the stream, Moho Games. If there's any more questions from any of the viewers, get them in the next 30 seconds before we wrap up. Just to let everyone know, we've got a watch along. So 10 minutes before the Everton versus Liverpool game, we've got a watch along. D10 is going to be on. FPL Amateurs of Oz is going to be on. FPL Eyes is going to be on as well. So he's on Twitter. We're going to do the analysis of Everton Liverpool, give our reactions to the game. So come back in a couple of hours and check that out. If you're new to the channel, give the channel a subscribe. Give the video a like. Give each of us a follow on the socials at FPLMattDay on Twitter, Instagram, and I'm now also on TikTok. FPL Amateur of Oz, FPL Amateur Oz on Twitter, Instagram. He's also got a website, so go check him out at D10 Football, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter as well. So check him out as well. Thanks both for joining. Any final words, Daniel, before we leave the stream?
No, not at all. Looking forward to the watch along. Watch along will be great. The watch along is always good fun. It was nice of Q to join us to make amendment for those fixture blunders.
Yeah.
You messed me up, man. You messed me up. I said, "Oh, look, they're home," and expect that Mac. No, that is one that the FPL Amateurs Oz has recorded poorly.
Mate, as long as I stitched you up, mate, that's a win for me in my books. My parting thoughts are: go for your gut. Try to maybe stay out of the Twitter bubble. Sort of coming up to the deadline, just because it is easy to get caught up in the excitement of where everyone's talking about and going against yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you back yourself and it pays off, I feel like it's more rewarding than, when you go against yourself and then all of a sudden what you thought would happen happens. So you kind of, back yourself is my advice.
Cool, good stuff. And yeah, thanks Dan and for joining the stream. It's been a really good guest tonight. Thanks Q for joining for the last part of the stream and for the fixtures. And thanks everyone for watching and viewing. If you're new, give us a subscribe and a like on the video. Final comment from Bora TV. Thank you for the stream, guys. No problem. Thanks for joining. My last thoughts, yeah, just captain Haaland, get him in your team. Don't go through the pain I've gone through in the last 2 game weeks. It's not worth it. Get him in now. Start your season, and you will build up those points. So that leaves us here for the stream. Thanks everyone for joining. Like I said, come and tune in exactly 2 hours from now for the Everton versus Liverpool watch along. All 3 of us will be on there, and also FPL Eyes. 14 minutes until the deadline, so get your transfers in if you haven't done, and get your teams finalized. Thanks everyone for joining, and we will see you in the next one.